Guess I didn't see him. What are you looking so sad about, Jam?
I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm get a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, during one time during my career, I went on a bum of the month tour.
Bum of the month? I would have been a bum compared to you.
Well, you've been on the tour.
Oh,
Watch this. A left-right combination by Rocky draws a beautiful left hook counter by La Starza. Oh, his man down. La Starza has been knocked down, but never out. As he himself puts it, I know how to get up. During this, and ducking under those shots by Marciano. Watch.
What's happening, my people? It's Cash Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before we get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to be a content creator. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT, Mike Mazik. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, the Box Historian. Today, the life and career of Floyd Mayweather Jr., Part 2. And you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Historian bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. How's everyone today? Monday afternoon edition of Cass Sports, the Box Historian. Welcome one, welcome all. Yeah, I know Friday I said we was going to continue Floyd on Friday. But why wait till Friday? We're going to finish Floyd up today. Friday we're going to do another profile. But first, our highlights of boxing history today is going to be, we're going to get back to the Ring Magazine Fight and Fighters of the Year. We started back in 1922 when Ring Magazine started announcing the award, and now we're up to the 2010s. So today, Ring Magazine Fight and Fighter of the Year for 2010 to 2019. And we're not only going to tell you who the Fight and Fighter of the Year is, we're going to tell you why the fight was Fighter of the Year and why the fighter won Fighter of the Year. Okay? So we got a lot to get to today. Let's get into it. Appreciate everybody for stopping by, okay? Let's do this. This is the Monday afternoon edition of Cass Sports, the Box Historian, bringing you all that boxing history. Okay, the fight of the year for 2010 was Giovanni Segura versus Ivan Calderon. One. That's Ivan Calderon on the left, Giovanni Segura on the right. Okay, let's talk about it. This fight took place on August 28th, 2010 at Coliseo Mario in Puerto Rico. Mexico Segura went to Calderon's native Puerto Rico and they waged a fierce fight that ranked as one of the best slugfests of 2010. Now, Segura won the WBO junior flyweight title fight by knockout at 1 minute 34 seconds of the 8th round. Now, the fight drew comparisons to the legendary rivalry between Willie Pep and Sandy Sadler in a classic boxer-brawler matchup. Segura retained his title with the win. In 2010, Fighter of the Year was Sergio Martinez. Sergio Martinez, Fighter of the Year for 2010. There's Sergio. Okay. Now, Sergio had 2 fights in 2010, winning both of them. In April, at age 35, he defeated Kelly Pavlik by unanimous decision to win the WBC, WBO, and ring middleweight titles. Then in November 2010, in what many called unofficially the knockout of the year, Martinez knocked out Paul Williams in the 2nd round to retain his titles. Yeah, a lot of people called that knockout of the year. I don't believe it won it, but unofficially, a lot of people thought it should have been. Okay, let's go to 2011. Fight of the year for 2011 was Victor Ortiz versus Andre Berto 1. Victor Ortiz versus Andre Berto 1. There you go. Now, this fight took place April 16th, 2011 at Foxwoods Resort Casino in Washantucket, Connecticut. Okay? Now, Ortiz took the fight to Berto right from the beginning and almost never let up. Now, Berto fired back throughout the fight, but he wasn't able to fully cope with Ortiz's relentless pressure and hard, accurate punches. Now, the knockdown started almost immediately. Ortiz hurt Berto and sent him to one knee in the very first round. In the second round, Berto forced Ortiz to touch the canvas with a glove, with a right to the chin. In the sixth round, Ortiz dropped his left hand and Berto landed a huge right, putting Ortiz on his back. Now, Ortiz survived the knockdown and put Berto down again with a short left at the end of the sixth round. What a fight. Ortiz controlled the remainder of the fight as he had most of the early rounds, earning a unanimous decision and lifting the WBC welterweight title off of Berto. What a fight that was. And the fighter of the year for 2011 was SOG, Andre Ward. Mike Grimm in the building. What's up, Mike? Starting out with our highlights of boxing history with the 2010s. We're at 2000. Fighter of the year for 2011. SOG, Andre Ward. There's SOG. Now, Andre Ward went 2-0 in 2011, which were his final two fights in the Super 6 World Boxing Classic. Remember that? Then in the semifinal of that tournament, in May 2011, he beat Arthur Abraham by unanimous decision. Then in the championship match, which took place in December of 2011, Ward defeated Carl Froch by unanimous decision to win the tournament and come out of it with the WBA and WBC titles. Those were stipulated as the winner of the tournament would get the WBA and WBC. In a perfect world, it would have been undisputed, but hey, the world ain't perfect, so WBA and WBC were on the line in the tournament. SOG came out of it with both of them. Let's go to 2012, okay? The fight of the year for 2012 was Juan Manuel Marquez versus Manny Pacquiao, 4. Remember that one? Marquez Pacquiao 4. Great fight. Well, I guess not so much for Manny. On December 8th, 2012, at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, Marquez and Pacquiao met in the fourth and final fight of their epic 4-fight series. The first 2 rounds were tentative, with neither fighter landing anything significant, aside from a Pacquiao right hook to close the opening round. In the third round, Marquez floored Pacquiao with a feint to the body, followed by a looping overhand right. In the fourth round, Marquez landed several significant right-hand counters. Now, Pacquiao floored Marquez in the fifth round with his signature straight left hand. Remember the Manny straight left hand? Signature straight left hand. Floored Marquez in the sixth. But later, fifth round. But later in the fifth round, Marquez wobbled Pacquiao with a massive straight right hand to the chin. Okay? In the final minutes of the fifth round, the fighters stood toe-to-toe and exchanged punches before Pacquiao landed several unanswered punches, including a vicious right hand that buckled Marquez's knees and broke his nose. Now, round 5 of this fight should have definitely been one of the top candidates for round of the year. Now, I don't even know if it won it that year, but if it didn't, it should have been deep in the conversation because that was a serious round. Remember that round 5 of Marquez Pacquiao 4? But in the next round, now Pacquiao was controlling the action in round 6 when he double feinted a jab, presumably setting up his infamous jab, straight left. Remember Pacquiao's jab, straight left combination? But Marquez ducked under the second jab and unloaded a big right hand to Pacquiao's face. Pacquiao's head snapped back violently as he fell face first to the canvas, unmoving. And that was all she wrote. Marquez wins by 6-round knockout. Okay. And the fighter of the year for 2012, who else? Who else but Juan Manuel? Right? Juan Manuel Marquez. Crush, the legend in the building. What's up, Crush? We looking at the fight, a little highlight of boxing history 230 segment. Fight and fighters of the year from 2010 to 2019 decade. And we're telling you just why they were fighting fighter of the year. But Crush, the legend. Coffee and Donuts, 6:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. Don't miss it. You're doing yourself a big disservice. Salute, Crush. Crush, the legend. Okay. Fighter of the year. Well, yeah, Juan Manuel Marquez was fighter of the year for 2012. Okay. Now in 2012, Marquez, I'm always losing. Oh, he went 2-0 for 2012, right? In April, he won the vacant WBO interim junior welterweight title with a unanimous decision over Sergey Fedchenko. Then in December 2012, Marquez won by 6-round knockout over Manny Pacquiao in the fight of the year. Those two fights earning him fighter of the year. Let's go to 2013. A lot to get to today, okay? Fight of the year for 2013. Fight of the year for 2013 was Timothy Bradley versus Ruslan Provodnikov. Okay, there's Desert Storm and Ruslan. Now this fight took place on March 16th, 2013 at the Home Depot Center in Carson, California. Now Bradley won a close unanimous decision over Provodnikov for the WBO welterweight championship. Now the two fighters went to war during the fight. Now, Provodnikov landed a big shot to the body in the 10th round. It was surprising, right in the kidneys, as Bradley continued. It was unbelievable, some of the shots Bradley ate during this fight. And Tim Bradley admitted to having blood in his urine after the fight. Now, although many people felt Bradley lost the fight, he did his share of damage to Provodnikov, enough to earn the unanimous decision and retain his WBO welterweight title. Okay, and the fighter of the year for 2013 was Adonis Stevenson. There's Adonis. Here you had Adonis. Oh no, back to them. All right, Adonis. I'm gonna go right. Oh, there he is. I guess King Adonis. He got a crown on, but he won fighter of the year for 2013. He had 4 fights in 2013. Won all 4 of them. A 6-round knockout of Darnell Boone in March, a first-round TKO over Chad Dawson in June to win the WBC ring light heavyweight titles. He had a 7th-round referee's technical decision over Tavares Cloud in September to retain the WBC ring titles. And his 4th and final fight of the year was in November 2013 when he defeated Tony Bellew by TKO in the 6th round to retain his titles. 4-0, 4 stoppages, not a bad year, especially for 2013. Not too many people was fighting 4 times a year anymore. 2 times was a lot, so not a bad year for Stevenson earning fighter of the year. Okay, almost halfway through the decade. 2014 fight of the year was Lucas Matisse versus John Molina Jr. There you go. That's Matisse on the left, Molina Jr. on the right. Okay. All right. This fight took place on April 26, 2014 at the StubHub Center in Carson, California. Now, the way these two fighters went at each other was like a couple of machines going at it instead of 2 flesh and bone human beings. Matisse, whose nickname just happened to be the Machine, hit the deck twice, while Molina tasted the canvas 3 times. Now, both men landed the kind of blows capable of causing the type of damage and wounds that can only be closed by doctor-administered staples. And Molina actually got 17 staples in his head after the fight. 17 staples in his head. You know, that had to be a war, man. And in the 11th round, everything would come to a fittingly violent conclusion, with Matisse knocking Molina out. And the fight ended there in theory, but not in practice. This was the kind of classic brawl that lives on and on in boxing lore. Proof of that is we talking about it today in 2025, 11 years later. Okay. Now, 2014 Fighter of the Year was Sergey Kovalev. Sergey got a fire resume. Sergey got one of them Canelo resumes, man. We fought Fury, Andre Ward. Did he fight Joshua? I know he fought Canelo, one of them Oscar resumes. But Sergey went 3-0 in 2014. In March of the year, he retained his WBO light heavyweight title with a 7th round knockout of Cedric Agnew. Then in August, he retained the title with a 2nd round TKO win over Blake Caparello. Finally, in a unification fight, the big one of the year for him, in November, he defeated Bernard B. Hopkins by unanimous decision to retain his WBO title, and he took B. Hop's WBA and IBF light heavyweight titles. That was a unification. Added B. Hop's 2 titles to his collection to win Fighter of the Year for 2014. Sergey Kovalev, okay? 2015, Fighter of the Year. Francisco Vargas versus Takeshi Miura. That's Vargas on the left, Miura on the right. Now, Vargas won the WBC Super Featherweight title with a TKO win over Miura. Referee Tony Weeks stopped the fight after Vargas knocked Miura down and then landed punch after punch while meeting little resistance. Now, while the timing of the stoppage was questionable, since Miura looked to be starting to mount some defense, right? But he had already absorbed major damage, okay? Both fighters were impressive with their toughness during this fight, and the excitement began in the 1st round after Vargas caught Miura flush in the face with a right hand counter. Now, once Miura started staggering, Vargas smelled blood in the water. He threw 64 power shots in the opening round, landing 25, according to HBO Boxing. Now, Miura began to find his footing in the 2nd round, and he got the better of Vargas also in the 3rd round. And a right-left combination sent Vargas to the mat in the 4th round. So Miura was starting to find his footing. Now, during that sequence, a sizable cut was open under Vargas's right eye. Now, although Vargas's eye swelled more and more each round, he maintained his aggressive streak, with each punch taking more and more out of Miura. Eventually, it became too much for Miura, and when Vargas knocked him down in the 9th round, that was the beginning of the end, with the fight being stopped later in the 9th round, okay? This fight took place on November 15th, 2015 at the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino Event Center, Las Vegas, Nevada. And the Fighter of the Year for 2015 was Tyson Fury. There's Tyson on the right. Tyson Fury. Okay. Tyson Fury went 2-0 for the year, with wins against Christian Hammer by referee technical decision in February. And in November of 2015, Fury defeated Vladimir Klitschko by unanimous decision to win the WBA, IBF, IBO, and ring heavyweight titles. Okay, winding down. We're going to get to Florida in a minute. 2016 Fight of the Year was Francisco Vargas versus Orlando Salido. Francisco Vargas in his consecutive Fight of the Year. That's him on the right, Salido with the bald head on the left. Okay. On June 4th, 2016, Vargas and Salido faced each other at the StubHub Center in Carson, California, for Vargas' WBC World Super Featherweight title, 130. Now, Salido a heavy underdog, came on strong and pressed the action during the entire fight against Vargas. Vargas was a younger and bigger fighter who had just came from a war against the tough Takashi Miura. Remember the fight of the year in 2015, the year before. Now both fighters went toe-to-toe for most of the fight, but neither went to the canvas in an extremely close fight. Now the fight ended in a draw with Vargas retaining his titles, but some observers felt Salido deserved the decision. The judges' scorecards read 114-114 twice, 2 judges, and 115-113 for Salido. But the draw got the majority, so it was a majority draw. And the fighter of the year for 2016 was Carl Frampton. Okay, what's up, Carl? Okay, Frampton had 2 fights in 2016. The first was in February, a super bantamweight unification fight with Scott Quigg. Frampton won by split decision, retaining his IBF title and picking up the WBA title from Quigg. Frampton's other fight in 2016 was against Leo Santa Cruz in July. Frampton moved up to super featherweight, went up two classes for that fight, winning by majority decision, winning the WBA title at 130. Came all the way from 122 for that, right? And beat Leo. Knocked down a big name. That year, 2016, Leo Santa Cruz was going strong. Fight of the year for 2017. It's got a couple more. Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko. Okay, 2017 fight of the year. Okay, we're gonna be on Floyd in a minute. Okay. On April 29th, 2017, at Wembley Stadium in London, Joshua and Klitschko met for Joshua's IBF and the vacant WBA and IBO World Heavyweight titles in front of a post-war record crowd of 90,000 people. Joshua won by TKO in the 11th round. They fought a close and cautious first 4 rounds. In the 5th round, Joshua came out and sent Klitschko to the canvas with a barrage of punches. Now, Klitschko scored his own knockdown in round 6. The next few rounds were again cautious until Joshua attacked Klitschko in round 11, sending him to the canvas again. Klitschko again rose, but Joshua knocked him down for a 3rd time in the fight, 2nd time in the round. Then sent a barrage of punches while Klitschko was against the ropes that made the referee stop the fight. At the time of the stoppage, Joshua was ahead on 2 judges' scorecards by 96-93 and 95-93 on the 3rd card. No, the 3rd card had Klitschko ahead 95-93, so close fight. And the fighter of the year for 2017 was Vasily Lomachenko. Okay, Vasily Lomachenko. Lomachenko went 3-0 in 2017. Okay, winning his first fight of the year by 9th round referee technical decision over Jason Sosa in April, retaining the WBO junior lightweight title. He was at 130 then. Lomachenko's next fight was in August against Miguel Marriaga, another referee's technical decision, this time in the 7th round, and again retaining his WBO 130 title. His 3rd and final fight of 2017 was another referee's technical decision win, this time in the 9th round against Guillermo Rigondeaux. And Loma was making his 3rd successful title defense of the year. 2018 fight of the year was Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin 2. Canelo Golovkin 2. Now, this fight took place on September 15th, 2018 at T-Mobile Arena in Paradise, Nevada. Now, Golovkin's WBA, WBC, and IBO titles and the vacant ring and lineal middleweight titles were on the line. Now, the rematch was again not without controversy, as Canelo won by majority decision after 12 rounds. Judges Dave Moretti and Steve Weisfeld scored the fight 115-113 in favor of Canelo. and Judge Glenn Feldman scored it 114-114, a draw. Now, the result was disputed by fans, pundits, and media alike. Of the 18 media outlets scoring the fight, 10 ruled in favor of Golovkin. 7 scored the fight a draw. Only 1 gave it to Canelo. Media, but the 3 judges gave it to Canelo. That's what counted. The scorecard showed how close the fight was, with the judges splitting 8 rounds. After 9 rounds, all 3 judges had their scores reading 87-84 for Canelo. Nevertheless, it was a great fight, and despite the controversy, the rematch between Canelo and Triple G remains one of the most significant fights in recent boxing history. And the fighter of the year for 2018 was Alexander Usyk. Hey, there's Usyk. Usyk had 3 fights in 2018 and went 3-0 for the year. Usyk fought Maurice Breedis in January in a cruiserweight unification fight, winning by majority decision and retaining his WBO title and winning the WBC title from Breedis. In July 2018, Usyk faced Murat Gassiev in another cruiserweight unification fight. He defeated Gassiev by unanimous decision, retaining the WBC and WBO titles, winning the WBA and vacant IBF and ring title. And the win made Usyk the first ever 4-belt undisputed champion in the cruiserweight division. He won his 3rd and final fight of the year in November by 8th round knockout of Tony Bellew, defending his undisputed title for the first time. And finally, for the decade, the final fight of the year, 2019, was The Monster. Naoya Inoue versus Nonito Donaire won. What a fight that was. What's up, Al Booger? We're finishing up the fights of the year for the 2010s, and we're going to get on to Floyd. Those are the highlights of boxing. Let's do that, Al Booger. And the last fight of the year for the decade, 2019, was The Monster. Naoya Inoue versus Nonito Donaire won. That was a barn burner there. Now, on November 7th, 2019, at Super Arena in Saitama, Japan, Inoue and Donaire met for the IBF World Bantamweight Championship, 118. Donaire broke Inoue's orbital bone in the 2nd round, but Inoue showed he was much more than just power and outboxed his way to a knockdown and a unanimous decision win. Inoue also suffered a broken nose in the fight. Yeah, he showed great. He broke his orbital bone in the 2nd round and fought 10 more rounds to the 12th round. Had to be getting hit on it constantly, and man, I would have just quit. That'd have been it for me. I ain't ashamed to say it. Break my orbital bone. You can have it. You win. Bye. I'm leaving. I'm out of there. And the Monster fought 10 rounds with a broken orbital bone, man. Fighter of the year for 2019. Like I said, I'm out of there. Break my orbital bone. I'm gone. Fighter of the year for 2019, Canelo Alvarez. Now, Canelo competed in 2 fights in 2019. In May, he defeated Daniel Jacobs by unanimous decision to retain the WBA, WBC, and ring middleweight titles. And he won the IBF middleweight title from Jacobs. In November 2019, Canelo knocked out Sergey Kovalev in the 11th round in his first fight at light heavyweight, winning the WBO title to go 2-0 for the year and earn Fighter of the Year honors. Canelo Alvarez. Okay, let's get to Floyd. 235. Yeah, we're going to get finished today. The life and career of Floyd Mayweather Jr., part 2. Okay? Appreciate everybody that's in the building so far. Okay? Al Booker said that's back when Loma was making dudes quit. Yeah, in the corner in mid-round. Yeah. 3 consecutive RTDs, Al Booker. In that fight of the year, yeah, all 3 of his fights was RTDs. Right? Yeah. All 3 fighters quit on him. In other words, RTD is fancy for the quitting. Right? Okay. Now, the life and career of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Part 2. A little review. Floyd was just, American boxing promoter, former professional boxer, 5-time champion in all the classes he fought in, which was super featherweight, lightweight, junior welterweight, junior middleweight, champion in all of them. Finished his career 50-0. Now we stopped at Oscar yesterday, Friday, right before Oscar. I think it was Valdemir was the last one. And when he coming into the Oscar fight, he was 37-0 at that point in his career. Okay, and we're gonna cover the last 13 fights of his career today. So coming into the Oscar fight, he was 37-0. Had 13 more to go. Okay. Floyd Pretty Boy / Money Mayweather. Okay. That's everybody this Monday afternoon, right at the beginning of another big week of boxing history. We got a big one. Got a good one tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about some movie boxers, like Rocky and Apollo Creed and the Russian that Rocky fought. I forgot the guy Mr. T played. We're gonna rank some movie boxers. The girl in $1 Million Baby, remember? Clint Eastwood was a trainer, yeah. So don't miss tomorrow. We're gonna talk about some movie boxers. Got about 20, 25 of them, okay? Wednesday is brought to you by Lucy Goosey. Lucy Goosey wanted to see to rank some combination punches, so we're gonna take it a step further. We're gonna talk about combinations. What is a combination and how did you execute them and how important are they, all that stuff. Then we're going to rank some combination punches. Clever Lang, thank you, Booger. That was his name. Clever Lang. Yeah, that's him. We're going to talk about Clever tomorrow, some movie boxes. Going to be interesting. And if we get through this in time, I've read these couple interesting articles on Ali this week and found out some stuff I never knew about him before. Some of y'all might have heard these things, but a couple things I never knew about it. Time permitting, we're going to talk about that at the end. I read a couple of very interesting articles on Ali this weekend. I combined them into one, and we're going to talk about them later if we have time. And if not, we're going to make it the highlights of boxing history before the Mars show. Okay, Oscar was his fight that we're going to start out with today. I timed this earlier, and it took exactly an hour, so we should finish this about 3:30. Should have time to do. Took me like from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock earlier to do this. So yeah, we should have time to cover that Ali stuff. It was very interesting. Yeah, like those last two fights he had, Larry Holmes and Trevor Berbick. He actually didn't pass the physical for either one of them. But the sanctioning bodies and the Nevada State Athletic Commission that found some doctors they could pay to pass it. The man couldn't even touch his nose or couldn't even stand on one foot at like 37 years old. So, he definitely shouldn't have had either of those fights. Already suffering from Parkinson's, but we're going to get to it. Let's finish up Floyd first. Okay? Wait. No, Oscar. I give it a start with Canelo. It was Oscar. We didn't do Oscar, Canelo, Sugar Shane, Madonna, none of them Friday. I had to continue this today. Sergey Kovalev was this Friday. And Sergey got one of them Oscar resumes. I was looking at his fighters he fought a lot of big names, man. Kovalev did. Wow, we're going to talk about him Friday. Well, you had Oscar? God damn. Oh, there he is. Gee, Ricky Hatton. Oscar was right before Ricky Hatton, right? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're going to start with Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd. Because, Oscar was the last fight Floyd had where he wasn't the B side. After that, Floyd was the A side for the rest of his career. But Oscar made more money, was the A side, everything in the Floyd fight. Remember, let's talk about it. Mayweather versus De La Hoya, junior middleweight. Now, his fight with Oscar was a long-anticipated fight. Oscar was the 6th division champion at the time and the WBC junior middleweight title holder, right? This fight was on May 5th, 2007. Now, Oscar's belt was on the line, which required Floyd to move up in weight from 147 to 154, okay? Now, however, Floyd was outweighed by more than 10 pounds the night of the fight. Floyd came in at 150, right, under the 154-pound limit, right? Oscar came in at over 160, not much. Now, despite Oscar's insistence that money was not a factor, the Mayweather-De La Hoya fight set the record for most pay-per-view buys for a fight, with 2.4 million households, breaking the previous record of 1.95 million for Evander Holyfield versus Mike Tyson 2. Now, that was shattered later by Floyd and Manny and Floyd and Conor McGregor. But at that time, that was the record, Floyd and Oscar. Now, about $120 million in revenue was generated by the pay-per-view, which was another record at the time. Now, including percentages, Oscar earned $58 million for the fight, the highest purse ever for a fighter. The previous record was $35 million, held by Mike Tyson and Holyfield. Mayweather earned about $25 million for the fight. Like I said, that was the last time Floyd ever earned less than his opponent, was the Oscar fight. But Floyd gave up a lot to make that fight. He gave Oscar Oscar picked the referee, the ring size, everything. Because that's how you do it. Floyd wanted to fight, and Floyd went and improved himself in the ring, and then he became the man after that, right? That's how you do it. Now, at one time, Floyd Mayweather Sr. negotiated to train Oscar for this fight, right? Be in his corner against his son. But Oscar decided to use Freddie Roach instead. Now, Floyd won the fight by a split decision in 12 rounds, capturing the WBC junior middleweight title. But many analysts and ringside observers felt Floyd should have received a unanimous decision. Now, during the early rounds of the fight, Oscar had some success cutting off the ring and attempting to pound Floyd against the ropes on the inside. Now, despite his activity on the inside, however, many of Oscar's punches were ineffective and landed on Floyd's arms or shoulders. Now, by the middle rounds of the fight, it was seen as even by the ring announcers. Now, Floyd turned the tide in the middle and late rounds, often hitting Oscar at will. Now, the official scorecards for the fight read 116-112 for Floyd, 115-113 for Floyd, and one judge had a 115-113 for Oscar. Now, CompuBox had Floyd outlanding Oscar by 207 to 122 in total punches, 134 to 82 in power punches. So that one judge gave the Oscar had to be paid off, man. I believe in that these judges getting paid. The man had now CompuBox is just somebody hitting buttons for each fighter, but by that much, it's got to be something to that. 207 to 122 total punches, 134 to 82 in power punches. How in the hell one judge give Oscar the fight? Had to be either related to Oscar or paid off or something, man. Come on now. No way. Right. Now, Floyd also had better accuracy throughout the fight. Now, after the fight, Floyd contemplated retirement, saying he had nothing left to prove in the sport of boxing. Okay. But he fought Oscar at junior middleweight. He fought that one fight at junior middleweight, then he went back down. But he did later on fight again at junior middleweight. I think he fought Marquez and Cotto maybe at junior middleweight, but he did go back up. But he fought that one time for Oscar, then he came back down. And his next fight was the Hitman, not Hearns, Hatton. Ricky the Hitman Hatton, who Hatton said Hearns was his idol. So, he took his nickname. After his fight with Oscar, Floyd decided to relinquish his WBC junior middleweight championship, but he retained his welterweight title, right? On July 28, 2007, it was announced that Floyd would come out of his brief retirement to fight the ring junior welterweight champion, Ricky Hatton. And the fight was promoted by Oscar's promotional company, Golden Boy Promotions, and Floyd's Mayweather Promotions. So a joint promotion between Golden Boy and Mayweather Promotions. Now, the fight was entitled Undefeated. It took place December 8, 2007 at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it was the biggest welterweight showdown between two undefeated fighters since Oscar met Felix Trinidad in 1999. Okay? Now, lost my place, I'm sorry. During the build-up to the fight, Floyd claimed he was the greatest boxer ever. Floyd stated, "I respect what Sugar Ray Robinson and Ali did for the sport, but I am the greatest, and this is my time." Now, he's right about part of it. That era was his time, but I don't know about being the greatest and all that, you know. I'd say Joe Louis was the greatest of all time. The Brown Bomber. Not Ali, Joe Louis. Okay, so Floyd controlled the fight from the beginning, knocking Hatton out in the 10th round to retain the welterweight championship. Now, Hatton suffered a cut over his right eye in round 3. And from that point, his pace and movement began to slow down. In round 6, Hatton lost a point for punching the back of Floyd's head as he was draped over the ropes. Now, during the 10th round, Hatton was caught by a check left hook thrown from Floyd's hip. That was the beginning of the end. After falling head first into the turnbuckle, Hatton hit the floor. The Hatton did make it to his feet, but he was dazed. And 2 more lefts in quick succession knocked Hatton down again. And referee Joe Cortez stopped the fight at 1 minute 35 seconds of round 10. Yeah, that check hook was the beginning of the end. Now, the official scorecards at the time of the stoppage had Floyd ahead 88-82, 89-81, and 89-81. So one judge they gave Hatton 2 rounds through the first 9, and one they gave him 1. So Floyd was clearly dominating the fight. Okay, BN Boxing News is now in the building. What's up, BN Boxing News? We doing the finishing up Floyd. We started some, profiles on Friday, BN, but Floyd was so long we had to finish it today. We just started with Oscar Hitman. We doing the last 13 fights of his career. Oscar Hatton was the second fight today. So yeah, you didn't miss much. But salute BN Boxing News. Okay. Now, yeah, after the Hatton fight, Floyd said that Hatton was one of his toughest, most tenacious opponents. And Floyd announced his retirement from boxing to concentrate on his promotional company, saying he wanted Hatton to be his first client, but that didn't happen. I think Hatton was with Frank Warren, Queensbury, right? I think. Am I right? I think he was with Queensbury, Frank Warren. But yeah, Floyd didn't get it. But Floyd didn't stay retired long. He came back, and his first fight back was Juan Manuel Marquez. Remember? Our brother says, "I'll never forget that fight. My oldest was still just a baby." That pro Ricky crowd was insane. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Ricky was tough, but that check hook was the beginning of the end for him. He never recovered from that. When Floyd caught him with that check hook, Ricky hit the turnbuckle and went on down. Then he got up, went down again, and then Joe Cortez said, "That's it." Yeah, but it wasn't. Yeah, that crowd was insane though, Al Booker. You're right about that. I think Ricky was promoted by Frank Warren, right? Yeah, Queensbury. But Floyd wanted him to be his first client, but he never got Ricky. Okay, his first fight, he retired briefly. Then he came back and fought Juan Manuel Marquez. Okay, Marquez was a tough guy. I think Floyd was number 1 pound for pound. I think Marquez was number 2 pound for pound in the whole sport at that time. But on May 2nd, 2009, it was confirmed that Floyd was coming out of a 21-month retirement, almost 2 years, to fight the ring lightweight champion, number 2 pound for pound in the sport, Juan Manuel Marquez, at a catch weight of 144 pounds. Because Juan was smallish, man. So yeah, I think he must have fought Cotto at 154. Because Marquez was at a catch weight, 144. July 18th at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas on HBO, right? Pay-per-view. Now, the fight was postponed due to a rib injury that Floyd received during training. HBO's sports series 24/7 was also rescheduled for August 29th. Okay. Now, the fight took place on September 19th in conjunction with Mexican Independence Day, traditionally a big boxing weekend. Where was Canelo at? So Marquez took the mantle. Okay. Marquez was pretty big, yeah. Now, during the official weigh-in for the 144-pound catchweight fight, Mayweather failed to meet the weight limit. He came in at 146, and he was fined as a result. However, it was later revealed that the contract was changed so that Mayweather could make weight, and the fight was fought at the limit of 147, welterweight, as long as Marquez received a large guarantee. Yeah, Marquez got paid for that, stipulation there. They changed it from a catch weight to just regular 147-pound limit. Okay. So now, Mayweather won a unanimous decision over 12 rounds in a lopsided fight. Scorecards read 120-107, must have been a 2-point round in there somewhere. 119-108 and 118-109. One judge gave Marquez a total of 1 round. The other 2 had a shutout. Wow. Marquez landed 12% of his total 583 punches. That's terrible. While Floyd landed 59% of his 490 total punches. That's outstanding, 59%. Wow, that's almost unheard of. Almost 60%. 50% is outstanding. 59%. While Marquez landed 12. Wow, that was a whitewash. Now, this fight marked only the 5th time in boxing history that a non-heavyweight fight sold more than 1 million pay-per-view households, with HBO generating a revenue of approximately $52 million. Now, 4 of the other fights featured Oscar De La Hoya as the main event, making this fight the one of 2 events where a non-heavyweight fight sold over 1 million pay-per-views without Oscar De La Hoya. Now, Floyd blew that out of the water. That was at that time. Right now in 2025, Floyd Mayweather is in 4 of the top 5 pay-per-views. Okay, I think the other one is Mike Tyson and Randy Holyfield. Floyd is in 4 of the top 5 in revenue and buys. So yeah, he just blew Oscar away after that. But at that time, Oscar was the man. He was the leading pay-per-view guy back then. Now, the other fight was Manny Pacquiao versus Miguel Cotto, which sold 1.25 million pay-per-view buys. Okay. So next after Marquez was he took on Sugar Shane. Sugar Shane hurt him, remember? With that right hand, Sugar Shane went for it. Sugar Shane probably planned that shot through an entire training, but he didn't get the job done. He buckled Floyd, but didn't get him out of there. Wouldn't have been something with Sugar Shane would have got him out of there in the 2nd round. Booker said he was lighting up Marquez like a Christmas tree. Yeah, he was. Yeah. Okay. Now, Sugar Shane Mosley. Now, negotiations for a proposed fight between Mayweather and the ring number 3 pound for pound, Shane Mosley, began right after Andre Berto pulled out of his scheduled January 30th unification fight with Mosley due to the 2010 Haiti earthquake. Yeah, Andre Berto is Haitian, right? So both sides eventually agreed to fight on May 1st, 2010 for Mosley's WBA super welterweight title. It was later revealed that Mayweather refused to pay sanctioning fees required by the WBA, saying all belts do is collect dust. So it seemed like to me they saying that the champion and the challenger have to pay sanctioning fees in the title fight. I did not know that. I thought the person with the belt had to pay, but this is saying that when you're fighting for those belts, the champion and the challenger got to pay that 3%. Wow. I think I'm understanding it right, because Mosley was the champion, but it says Floyd refused to pay the fee. Floyd was just the challenger, but he was required to pay sanctioning fees. That's crazy. I did not know that. Wow. I think I got that right. But I didn't know that. I thought just the champion had to pay. No. Very interesting. I don't know. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Now, both Floyd and Sugar Shane agreed to Olympic-style testing for the fight. But I think Shane had his way. We failed that test, remember? That was before that, I believe. Now, Mosley started the fight well, landing 2 solid right hands in the second round, which caused Floyd's knees to buckle. I was just talking about that. But Floyd recovered well and went on to dominate the remainder of the fight, outboxing Mosley and showing more aggression than his previous fights. Yeah, Shane, you had to get Floyd out of there with that one because you wasn't going to get no more shots like that in on Floyd, not twice. You know, you had to get it done. Shane had the opening and got the shot in, but he didn't get the job done. And Floyd didn't allow that no more. After that, no. Nope. He dominated the rest of it, right? And Floyd eventually won a unanimous decision. And the scores were 119-109, 119-109, and 118-110. Wow. Shane got 1 round on two cards and 2 rounds on 1. He probably won the second. The round he buckled Floyd in, but he didn't get too much more after that. In round 4, Carpetbox found Mosley throwing 7 power punches without landing any, making Floyd the second boxer ever after Roy Jones Jr. to go an entire round without being hit by a power punch. After the fight, president of Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya, stated that he believed Mayweather was the best in the game. Now, the fight was the second best-selling non-heavyweight pay-per-view fight in history, with 1.4 million purchases. HBO reported that the fight generated $78.3 million in revenue. After the fight, Floyd expressed interest in moving up in weight to capture a world title in 6 different weight classes and to challenge newly crowned middleweight champion Sergio Martinez, but that never happened. So then he went into negotiations with Manny Pacquiao. He still didn't get the fight for about 5 years, but they went into negotiation. Okay. Why the hell that thing say 0? Nobody's in here? Okay, but negotiations with Manny Pacquiao. On December 5th, 2009, ESPN reported that 8th Division World Champion Manny Pacquiao had allegedly signed a contract to fight Floyd Mayweather on March 13th, 2010. However, Pacquiao denied this, stating that negotiations were still ongoing, telling Fan House there are still some things that need to be negotiated, okay? On December 11th, 2000, Miss Cass even left me. Damn. On December 11th, 2009, an 8-page contract was sent by Golden Boy Promotions on behalf of Mayweather to Top Rank, representing Pacquiao, proposing a 50-50 financial split between the sides for a fight on March 13th, 2010. Yeah, Floyd was fighting on the Golden Boy at that time, and still on the Golden Boy. He had Mayweather Promotions, and okay, Albert, appreciate you. And Manny was under Godfather. Okay, but anyway, the contract was so detailed that it indicated who would step onto the scale first at the weigh-in, Pacquiao. Who would walk to the ring first, Pacquiao. Who would be introduced first, Floyd. And who head first towards the locker room, Floyd. The contract also specified that the fight would be on HBO pay-per-view at a cost of $59.95. That wasn't too bad. $59.95, no. Now, the contract also called for both fighters to submit to Olympic-style drug testing. Now, the fight was expected to be the largest grossing fight in boxing history, okay? With total revenue projected to reach $300 million. And experts predicted it would sell between $2.5 million and 3 million pay-per-views in the U.S. And when they finally had it, it did become the highest grossing revenue and buys at that time. On December 11th, 2009, in a video titled Boxing Legend Freddie Roach Updates Us on Pacquiao, uploaded to YouTube, Pacquiao's trainer Freddie Roach mentioned the first hit about Mayweather's request for Olympic-style drug testing. Roach indicated that while they had agreed to this request, Mayweather's camp appeared to be backing away again. On December 13th, 2009, Pacquiao's advisor, Michael Kontz, dismissed Mayweather's request for Olympic-style drug testing as inconsequential, stating, "Our reaction is, so what? We know Manny doesn't take any illegal drugs or anything." Now, after reports surfaced that both parties had agreed to all terms, Golden Boy Promotions released a press release on December 22nd, 2009, revealing that Pacquiao was unwilling to comply with the Olympic-style drug testing requested by Team Mayweather. And the next day, the Godfather, top-ranked founder and CEO, declared the fight was off, citing Mayweather's insistence on drug testing was just a tactic to derail the fight. Arum later set a 24-hour deadline for Mayweather to accept their terms, which included 3 blood tests, one in January, one 30 days before the fight, and one immediately after the fight. Arum claimed that the USADA's procedures were too invasive and insisted on using another independent agency. Now, both sides eventually agreed to enter mediation on January 7, 2010, with retired federal judge Daniel Weinstein acting as mediator. However, negotiations broke down 2 days later when Mayweather refused to compromise on a 24-day cutoff date for blood testing. Mayweather subsequently announced that all his future fights would include random drug testing. But what's the problem? If the man ain't using nothing, just do whatever. If you want to fight, if you ain't doing nothing illegal, just do it. You ain't doing nothing illegal. You don't care if you got a drug test every 5 minutes. So the man had to be dirty. If you ain't doing nothing illegal, you can drug test me every day because I ain't got nothing to worry about. So Manny obviously was dirty, man. Okay? He obviously was dirty. Running through all them weight classes like that, yeah, the man was using. Okay, everybody knows that. He just never got caught. Manny Pacquiao was on PEDs his entire career. Okay? Now, after the failed negotiations, Pacquiao went on to defeat Joshua Clottey on March 13, 2010, while Mayweather beat Shane Mosley on May 1st, 2010. The fight between Pacquiao and Mayweather remained elusive for several more years, with disputes over drug testing and financial splits continuing to be a major obstacle. Why would disputes over drug testing be an obstacle if you ain't dirty? Drug testing should not be an obstacle. Just take the damn test. Ain't nothing in your system, right? So Pacquiao was obviously dirty, right? If he wasn't, well, what was the dispute over the drug testing? He had something to hide. Right? I mean, if you clean, why would drug testing be an obstacle? Somebody was dirty. We know it wasn't Floyd, so it had to be Manny. If drug testing is an obstacle, that means you're dirty. Let's move on. End of conversation. Okay? I don't care what nobody say. If drug testing is an obstacle, that means you're dirty. Mayweather versus Ortiz. Manny. Mayweather versus Ortiz. On June 7th, 2011, Mayweather announced via Twitter that he was set to fight WBC welterweight champion and the ring number 2 ranked welterweight Victor Ortiz on September 17th. Ortiz was Mayweather's first challenger in 16 months. The fight took place at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. For round 1, Mayweather used his speed, skills, and accurate right hand to tag Ortiz repeatedly. Thomas Hill in the building. What's up, T? He had to be doping, Al Booger, right? I mean, if you ain't dirty, why would drug testing be an obstacle? The only reason I can see drug testing being an obstacle, somebody had to be dirty. I mean, I don't use no drugs. I take a test every damn day. If I'm gonna make all that money they was gonna make, you can test me this morning, lunchtime, night, whatever. Man, he was dirty, man. That's why he didn't want to take the test. And I don't blame Floyd for not getting in there with it. The man was working with an unfair advantage, right? He was dirty. That's why he's running through all them weight classes like that. He was using PEDs. Okay, somebody else is too, but I'm not gonna say his name, Monster. Okay, now where we at? Victor Ortiz. I ain't gonna say no names, Monster, anyway. Okay, where were we? Where are we? Yeah, get ready to fight Victor Ortiz now. Well, what's up, Thomas Hill? Okay. Yeah, Ortiz was Mayweather's first challenger in 16 months. The fight took place at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. From round one, Mayweather used his speed, skills, and accurate right hand to tag Ortiz repeatedly. Now, Mayweather seemed in control through the first 3 rounds. Judges' scores were 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28 for Mayweather in the 4th round. Okay. Now, yeah, it was doping. Now, in the 4th round, Ortiz had some success, landing a few shots and stinging Mayweather before bullying him into the corner. He then rammed Mayweather in the face with an intentional headbutt, opening a cut on the inside and outside of Floyd's mouth. And referee Joe Cortez immediately called time out and docked Ortiz a point for the blatant foul. Now, Ortiz, apparently acknowledging his wrongdoing, hugged Mayweather in the corner and even appeared to kiss him. Cortez motioned the fighters back together to resume the fight without putting them in a neutral corner. Now, both fighters touched gloves. He don't have to do that. That's up to the referee's discretion. Now, both fighters touched gloves, and Ortiz gave Mayweather another hug. At that moment, Cortez was not looking at the fighters. As Ortiz let go, Mayweather took advantage of Ortiz not having his hands up and unloaded a left hook, which wobbled Ortiz. Ortiz then looked at the referee, and Mayweather connected with a flush right hand to Ortiz's face. Ortiz fell to the canvas and was unable to beat Cortez's count as the crowd of 14,687 jeered. No, don't jeer. Protect yourself at all times. Okay? The referee didn't say stop. The referee motioned for him to start fighting again. You up there trying to shake the man's hand and shit. So you got what you deserve. Mayweather, after the fight, now Ortiz claimed that he was merely obeying the referee's instructions when he was blindsided. No, the referee had told both of y'all back together to fight by Mayweather, who defended his actions by saying that in the ring, you have to protect yourself at all times. Okay, that is so true. And Mayweather versus Ortiz was purchased by 1.25 million homes with a value of $78,440,000 pay-per-view revenue. These numbers make the event the second highest grossing non-heavyweight pay-per-view event of all time at that time. The Mayweather has appeared in the 3 biggest non-heavyweight pay-per-view events in the sport's history. At that time now, Mayweather versus Ortiz, Mayweather versus De La Hoya, and Mayweather versus Shane Mosley. Now him and Pacquiao and McGregor passed all of those. Then he went back to junior middleweight after that. Yeah, him and Cotto was at junior middleweight. Okay. Now his advisor Leonard Ellerby announced on November 2nd, 2011, that Floyd would return to the ring on May 5th, 2012 at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. That negotiation with Manny Pacquiao failed again. In February, it was confirmed that Mayweather would be moving up in weight to fight WBA super welterweight champion and the ring ranked #1 ranked light middleweight Miguel Cotto. And the WBC put their super welterweight diamond belt at stake also. On the evening of Saturday, May 5th, Mayweather defeated Cotto in 12 rounds by unanimous decision, improving his record to 43-0. Mayweather used movement and outboxed Cotto in the middle of the ring for the first few rounds. Now, beginning in round 3 and 4, Cotto cut the ring off from Mayweather, forcing Mayweather to fight from the ropes. However, Mayweather seemed to outfight Cotto from the ropes with his combinations and by rolling with most of Cotto's punches. Now, Cotto had more success in the middle rounds, landing his jab and body shots on Mayweather and effectively trapping him on the ropes. Now, the later rounds were controlled by Mayweather, who boxed more in the center of the ring late in the fight. In the 12th round, Mayweather's uppercut stunned and hurt Cotto, but Cotto was able to fight until the end. The judges scored the fight a unanimous decision for Mayweather by scores of 118-110, 117-111, and 117-111, pretty wide. Now, after the fight, Floyd said Cotto was the toughest fighter he ever faced. Comparbox said Floyd outlanding and outworking Cotto in the fight by a significant margin. Mayweather landed 26% of his total punches, while Cotto landed 21%. Okay. Power shots, Floyd had 34%, Cotto had 23%. Okay. So let's move on. Now, jail term and repercussion for Floyd. On June 1st, 2012, Floyd reported to the Clark County Detention Center in Las Vegas to serve his jail term for domestic abuse. He was the one that said he was going to beat up Corrales. Remember, Diego Corrales, because Corrales had beat up his pregnant girlfriend. Now Floyd going to jail for the same exact charge. After serving 2 months, he was released from prison on August 3rd, 2012. Okay? So his next fight was Robert Guerrero. This fight took place on May 4th, 2013. MGM Grand against Guerrero, WBC interim welterweight champion, and #3 ranked welterweight, WBC mandatory challenger, Robert Guerrero. This was Floyd's first fight since being released from jail. It was the first time Floyd has fought on Showtime pay-per-view after a long relationship with HBO. He was guaranteed $32 million for this fight. I don't think he ever made under $30 million anymore in his career. Unless it was before exhibitions, he might have made less. Now, the fight took place in front of 15,880 people at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Now, prior to the fight, Guerrero had not lost in 8 years, right? And the first couple rounds were fairly even, with Floyd attempting to counter and time Guerrero, while Guerrero was attempting to drive Floyd into the ropes and make it a rough fight. Okay? Guerrero was trying to make it rough. After the first couple rounds, Floyd was in complete control, almost hitting Guerrero at will, with right-hand leads, counters, hooks, and effectively timing Guerrero the rest of the fight. And Floyd won the fight on all 3 scorecards, 117-111 by all 3 judges, okay? And then next was Canelo. This was at a catchweight. And then Canelo was at a catchweight. Floyd confirmed via Twitter that a deal was reached to face ring #10 ranked pound-for-pound WBC and WBA super welterweight champion Canelo Alvarez in a championship fight on September 14, 2013, Mexican Independence Day weekend, right, at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Now, a catchweight of 152 pounds was established for the fight. Now, Mayweather received a boxing record $41.5 million for the Canelo fight, according to Leonard Ellerby. In front of a sold-out crowd of 16,746 at the MGM Grand, Mayweather defeated Canelo by majority 12-round decision in a fight that many thought was going to be Mayweather's toughest. He outclassed the younger Canelo. Many observers at ringside thought Floyd won all 12 rounds. Judge C.J. Ross scored the fight a draw, 114-114. Judge Dave Moretti had it 116-112, and Craig Metcalf scored it 170-111. Judge Ross retired after the fight. They should have never been a judge. Speaking of the controversial scorecard, Mayweather said, "I can't control what the judges do. The combat box stats showed Mayweather's dominance in the fight. He landed 232 punches, 46%, to Canelo's 22%, right? And Canelo earned $5 million for the fight." Then came the unification and the Madonna situation. Marcos Madonna was next. Floyd versus Madonna. Despite interest in a fight with Amir Khan, Floyd announced that he would fight 30-year-old Marcos Madonna on May 3rd, 2014 in a unification fight at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, with Floyd's WBC and the ring welterweight titles at stake, as well as Madonna's WBA welterweight title. Now, Madonna won the WBA title in December 2013 against Floyd's friend, Adrian Broner. Remember that one? Now, Floyd tweeted the news the day after his 37th birthday. The Barclays Center in Brooklyn also made a case to showcase the fight. But Floyd was fighting in Las Vegas, all his fights by then because of the hands, right? Las Vegas was one of the places to let you shoot that Novocaine, and a lot of states didn't do that. That's one of the big reasons Floyd fought his last few years in Las Vegas. Okay, now Mayweather explained why he chose Madonna. Marcos Madonna's last performance immediately brought him to my attention. He is an extremely skilled fighter who brings knockout danger to the ring, right? Brings knockout danger to the ring. Now, I think this is a great fight for me, and Madonna deserves the opportunity to see if he can do what 45 others have tried to do before him. Madonna was a 12-1 underdog coming into the fight. In front of a sold-out crowd of 16,268, in what was one of his toughest fights, Mayweather won the fight by majority decision with scores of 114-114, 117-111, and 116-112. Madonna came out aggressive, maintained that stance throughout the fight, forcing Floyd to engage. CompuBox revealed that Mayweather was hit more times than any of his previous 38 fights that have been covered by CompuBox. Floyd landed 230 of his 426 punches thrown, 54%, while Madonna landed 221 of 858, 26%. So I don't see where everybody got this he lost from. He landed 54% of his punches to 26% for Madonna. Many times in the fight, Madonna threw shots at different angles, forcing Floyd against the ropes. According to Mayweather in the post-fight interview, Madonna's aggressive fighting made him change his style. Madonna was guaranteed a purse of $1.5 million for the fight, right? Floyd made $32 million. And there were calls for an immediate rematch, which they had, okay? So Mayweather, Madonna too, had the immediate rematch. Mayweather, Madonna too. July 10th, 2014, Mayweather made the announcement that a rematch with Madonna was confirmed, and the fight was to take place on September 13th, 2014 at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, with Mayweather's WBA, WBC, and the ring welterweight titles at stake, as well as Mayweather's WBC junior middleweight title. And the fight was billed as mayhem in front of 16,000 144 at the MGM Grand, Mayweather defeated Madonna by unanimous decision. And unlike the first fight, Mayweather came out better prepared for Madonna's style. The final judges' scores were 115-112, 116-111, and 116-111. ESPN scored it wider for Floyd, 119-108. Mayweather did not allow Madonna to land any overhand rights, with the punch stats showing Madonna connecting 128 of 572 shots, 22%, and Mayweather had a 51% connect rate. A bizarre moment occurred in round 8. Whilst in a headlock, Madonna appeared to have bitten Mayweather's left hand. Floyd explained this in the post-fight interview. I didn't know what it was. Something happened, and then my fingers went numb. After the 8th round, my fingers were numb. I could only use my other hand. He bit me. I realized he bit me. We were tangled in the middle of the ring, and all of a sudden, I felt something on my left hand. Now, Madonna denied the bite. Madonna said, maybe he thinks I'm a dog, but I never bit him. He was stubbing my eyes that round. He may have had his glove in my mouth, but I never bit him. After round 9, Madonna appeared to be confused as he started walking towards the wrong corner. Mayweather immediately ran towards him to point him to his corner, much to the amusement of the crowd. Madonna was unhappy with the final verdict and thought he won the fight. And you only landed 22% of your punches and Floyd landed 54%. How the hell you win the fight? Madonna said, I was attacking all the time. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought I was the aggressor. But Madonna, being aggressive don't mean shit. It's got to be effective aggression. And landing 22% of your punches is not effective aggression. Okay, so you lost. So the next fight was Mayweather versus Pacquiao finally. Yeah, I didn't think he won because he was aggressive. 22% of your punches is not effective aggression, okay? So no. Mayweather fought Manny Pacquiao on May 2nd, 2015 at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. After several negotiations spread out over several years, finally got in the ring together. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Okay. So now, Mayweather dictated the pace early, controlling range with his jab. His deft movement and pivoting made Pacquiao consistently miss, landing only 19% of his punches. And there were people that claimed Pacquiao won. 19% of his punches. Who are you going to beat landing 19% of your punches? Them was just haters, right? They were seeing what they wanted to see. The man landed 19% of his punches. How the hell did he win? Come on, man. Mayweather was able to counter Pacquiao with his right hand throughout the fight and won by unanimous decision with the scorecards reading 118-110. That was about right, 118-110. 116-112, 116-112 was too close. I think 118-110 was about right. The vast majority of media outlets scored the fight in Floyd's favor. In the days following the fight, many observers felt the fight failed to live up to expectations. Pacquiao told the media after the fight that he was limited in the fight due to an injured right arm, but he said nothing about the right arm going into the fight. If he had won, he would have said nothing about it. You don't get to talk about an injury after the fight. If you're injured, don't take the fight. You walked down the aisle and got into the ring. You given a medical form before the fight, you signed it. So no, I don't want to hear nothing about no injuries. You just got beat, okay? And you got washed. In this big fight that they've been talking about, this man been running for you for years, and you went there and got washed. And you got washed because you couldn't use your PEDs, man. We know what it was. Why you was running through all the weight classes because you was dirty. and offer PEDs, you got washed. Plain and simple. Okay. So second retirement, and then Andre Berto was next to his last fight. Andre Berto. Mayweather confirmed through Instagram that he would defend the WBC, WBA, and the ring welterweight titles against WBA interim champion Andre Berto on September 12, 2015 at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Haters wanted Floyd to lose so bad, they said Manny beat him. And Manny only landed 19% of his punches. Okay, 19%. That's great. Didn't he land 20% of his punches? But you got people out there talking about he won. Because they thought Manny was the man to do it. And they was all pumped up. And then Manny got washed. 19% of his punches, they going to still say he won. Come on, haters. Recognize greatness when you see it, man. You know? 50-0. And for those who say he cherry-picked, they all were professional boxers. For those who say he cherry, I had a guy Friday, I ain't gonna say his name, talking about Floyd was a cherry picker. I bet he couldn't beat one person that Floyd beat. Not one of them. Since he cherry picked, let me see you get in there and beat some of them then. Okay? I rest my case. I'm not even Perry Mason. Okay, let's continue. But yeah, you say cherry pick, get in there and beat some of the people he beat then. You beat one of them, then I'll say, yeah, Floyd was a cherry picker. Just beat one of them. Okay? Just one of them. But anyway, Berto. Now, Floyd received some backlash for picking Berto because Berto was 3-3 in his last 6 fights. Many felt he wasn't a credible opponent. There was still a people mad because Manny couldn't do it. Now, welterweight contender Amir Khan was said to be disappointed with the selection. Berto believed Mayweather chose him as his final opponent for personal reasons, which could date back to when he won the National Golden Gloves tournament. Showtime's Stephen Espinoza revealed the reason why Mayweather never chose Amir Khan. Espinoza said it was because Khan could have been observing Ramadan before the fight and therefore would not be at the top of his game, right? And the reason why he decided not to fight then IBF title holder Kell Brook was a business decision, with Brook not being known in the U.S. compared to Berto, okay? Now, Mayweather was able to pinpoint holes in Berto's guard and find a home for the jab early in the fight. He landed sharp counters and feint hooks while controlling range for the vast majority of the fight. Berto pushed the pace, but his aggressiveness fell short as Mayweather was highly mobile and closed the distance consistently. Mayweather hurt his left hand at the end of the 9th round, but remained comfortable throughout the rest of the fight, winning by unanimous decision, 117-111, 118-110, and 120-108. Okay? So then, he retired and returned again. Conor McGregor was his opponent. The idea of a Mayweather comeback floated around April 2016 as rumors of Mayweather Promotions filing for trademarks of TBE 50 and TMT 50 hinted, because it was 49-0 at the time, remember, that hinted that Mayweather might have been targeting that 50th win. This was confirmed by posts from the U.S. Patent and Trademark website. Around May of 2016, another rumor started that a crossover fight between Mayweather and MMA star Conor McGregor was in the works. On May 7th, 2016, Mayweather confirmed that he was the one who started the rumors regarding the potential clash. Mayweather followed it through with an Instagram post of an unofficial teaser poster showcasing both fighters. Now, Dana White dismissed the rumors and stated that Mayweather had yet to contact him in case he wanted the fight to push through, since McGregor was in contract with the UFC, yet Floyd would have to go through Dana White. Now, on January 13th, 2017, Dana White continued his stance against the Mayweather-McGregor boxing matchup and insisted that because of McGregor's contract, it would never happen, and even went as far as offering Mayweather to box McGregor in the UFC for $25 million. Okay? Now don't get in that cage, Floyd. That cage is different. On March 7th, 2017, Mayweather urged McGregor to sign the contract, hinting that a fight was really in the works. On March 10th, 2017, Mayweather stated that only a fight with McGregor would make him come out of retirement. On March 16th, 2017, Dana White backpedaled on his stance against Mayweather fighting McGregor and said that he would not deprive McGregor of making a massive payday. On May 18th, 2017, McGregor reportedly agreed to all of Mayweather's updated terms and signed the contract. On June 14th, 2017, after months of negotiations, both fighters announced on their Twitter accounts that they would fight on August 26, 2017 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. On August 24, 2017, it was announced that Mayweather and McGregor would be facing off for the WBC money belt, the belt that was specifically made for this fight. Now, according to the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Mayweather would earn a guaranteed purse of $100 million, and McGregor was guaranteed $30 million. Okay? So now the fight. In front of a crowd of 14,623, Mayweather won by TKO in the 10th round, surpassing Rocky Marciano and setting the record for the longest active unbeaten streak in a professional career at 50-0. In the opening round, Mayweather, as per previous fights, started slow to work out McGregor's tactics. In his post-fight interview, Floyd revealed it was part of the game plan to let McGregor punch himself out in the early rounds. Now, McGregor won the first round on all three judges' scorecards, and the same case could have been made for the opening 3 rounds, okay? Now, McGregor was warned a few times throughout the fight for hitting behind the head, but no points were deducted by referee Robert Byrd. Now, by the 4th round, McGregor began to tire and breathe heavily with his mouth open. Mayweather started to take control and landed with his right hand. Now, for the next few rounds, McGregor came out throwing shots in the opening 30 seconds, but immediately tired, giving Mayweather enough time to carry on, landing clean shots and winning the rounds. By round 9, McGregor had almost nothing left. Fatigued, and his face started showing redness. Now, 2 of the judges scored the round 10-8 for Mayweather and gave a 10-8 round without a knockdown. Round 9 was so wide. In round 10, McGregor staggered across the ring and was in a bad way against the ropes as Mayweather landed some hard shots. Now, with McGregor barely on his feet after a few unanswered punches, the referee waved the fight off. The time of stoppage was 1 minute, 5 seconds of round 10. Yep, beat the Conor McGregor fight. At the time of the stoppage, Floyd was ahead 87-83, 89-82, and 89-81, all in favor of Floyd. Yeah, I thought 87-83 because I thought McGregor won the first 3 rounds too because Floyd gave them to him, you know. the first 3 rounds. I definitely thought McGregor won more than 1 round. But on the rounds he won was the rounds Floyd let him win, and Floyd let him win 3 rounds, okay, in the beginning. So I thought 87-83 was right, was correct, what they had at the time of the stoppage, okay? Now, Floyd said of the fight, "This was my last fight. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for sure, I chose the right dance partner to dance with. Conor McGregor, you are a hell of a champion." He added, "He's a tough competitor, and I think we have gave the fans what they wanted to see. I owed them for the Pacquiao fight. I must come straight ahead and give the fans a show." And that's what I gave them. Now, McGregor felt the fight was stopped prematurely, but nevertheless respected the decision and admitted he was tired. And Mayweather agreed with the stoppage and explained that he avoided inflicting more damage on McGregor to protect him from brain damage. Floyd said, "He has a career, he still has a career. It could have been very damaging." Okay, so then Floyd had some exhibition fights after that. Okay, he fought what was this guy? Was a kickboxer, Tenshin Nasakara. Okay. Oh Lord, this is thing getting out of order. Tenshin Nasakara. Yeah, there they go. He had an exhibition against of course Logan Paul. Remember that one? Logan Paul. He carried him 8 rounds. He had Logan knocked out 1 round and had Logan on his back. I guess he had a no knockout clause in the contract, and Floyd was scared if he knocked Logan out, he wasn't going to get paid. So remember, he had Logan on his back 1 round. Logan was sleeping. And then he had an exhibition against Don Moore. Remember that one? Yeah, they didn't have any scores in it. They just ended up a draw, whatever. And a couple more exhibitions. Deji Olatunji. Remember that one? David Olatunji. There's him and David Olatunji. I want to get to this Muhammad Ali article. Asakara, and then the Gotti situation, remember? Yeah, there's David. Then he had the John Gotti III. They had the 2 of them. They had the brawl, and then they had the other situation. And then Floyd, personal life was kind of, he got into the WWE, knocked Big Show out. How can Floyd knock this big 7-foot, 500-pound man out, right? Personal life. He lives in a 22,000 square foot, 5-bedroom, 7-bath, custom-built mansion in Las Vegas. He owns the Mayweather Boxing Club, a boxing gym in Chinatown Plaza in Las Vegas. Mayweather Promotions, right? Recorded a rap song called Yet in 2008. Walked out to that during WrestleMania against Big Show. Had some legal issues during his career, domestic violence and battery convictions. Floyd did during his career. Okay, I'm going the wrong way. Yeah, I'm not going to get into all that. But there you have it, the life career of Floyd Money Mayweather. Now let's look at this Muhammad Ali situation, because this was interesting. I ran across these Muhammad Ali articles this week, and I put them together, and I learned some stuff about Ali I never knew before. Oh, that had to be. That's Ali versus Burbick. Okay, let me get that up for you. Pretty interesting. Let's Let's see, highlights the boxing. But now we'll get it in. Okay. Now the title is let me get to it. Come on, man. Everything going good when I was looking at it earlier. Oh, come on, where is it? Please, I'm begging. Okay, the title is, how was Muhammad Ali allowed to fight Trevor Berbick when it was clear there was something wrong with him? Okay? It was clear there was something wrong with him. During that fight and Larry Holmes, okay? Now, Ali was already ill with the neurological symptoms of Parkinson's when he fought his last two fights against Larry Holmes and Trevor Berbick. And in looking back, it is absolutely criminal that he was allowed to fight. Okay? Indeed, the fight doctor believed Ali was too ill to fight from Manila on and should have retired after Manila. His doctor, Freddie Pacheco, said he should have retired after the third Joe Frazier fight. He had like 6 fights after that. Maybe that Parkinson wouldn't have got as bad if he would have retired after the Joe Frazier fight. Now, corruption, criminal disregard of rules, and despicable greed was why the fights with Holmes and Berbick was allowed. And it wasn't the first time crooked promoters and officials broke every rule to get a sick man a boxing license. Don King was in the middle of it. Ali could not pass a fight physical for the Berbick fight. No doctor anywhere would clear him to fight. So they went and found someone who wasn't even a medical doctor to give him clearance. Against Holmes, when he could not pass a fight physical, somehow the promoter found a respectable clinic to sign off on his fighting. Good old Don King. But this time, the promoter could not find anyone in the entire medical world to sign off on his fighting again. Okay? So for his last fight, they found a pathologist, not a physician, who would claim that all Ali's problems were psychological in nature. PhD, Harry Demopoulos, a professor of pathology with no training in psychology whatsoever, said that 30 doctors were involved in the study he did on Ali, although he never named them or provided proof they even existed. Okay? Never named any of them or provided proof that these doctors even existed. And that they all came to the same conclusion. There's absolutely no evidence that Muhammad Ali has sustained any injury to any vital organ, brain, liver, kidneys, heart, lungs, nervous system, or muscle or bone systems. His blood tests indicate he has the vessels of a young man. All that was BS. The man had Parkinson's disease at the time, right? But money. They found a doctor that was willing to take the money to give him the life to pass it. And the slurring of words and apparent motor damage Ali was suffering, like not being able to stand on one foot or touch his hand to his nose. Couldn't even do that. 37 years old, couldn't stand on one foot or couldn't even touch his nose, man. No business in a boxing ring. But this doctor said, we think it's a psychosocial response. If the slurring were due to permanent damage, it would be there all the time. But in the real world, not corruption world, it was there all the time, okay? Only South Carolina would issue a license. But when there were objections there, it went out of the country, and the Bahamian Minister of Sports, Youth, and Community Affairs, Kendall Nottage, approved the fight. You know, they hit him off, you know. Okay. So let's move on. Nottage said, I've shown a number of medical reports and they were satisfactory to me. And also that envelope full of money was satisfactory to you too, wasn't it, Nottage? He was the Minister of Sports, Youth, and Community in the Bahamas. Obviously corrupted. The man had Parkinson's disease. Couldn't even stand on one foot or touch his hand to his nose. How in the hell are you going to get a license to box? Come on, man. And none of the alleged studies on Ali or tests were ever published. And Demopoulos was unable to explain subsequently Ali's worsening illness. That's the psychologist or whatever he was that passed. The whole fight card was a disaster. All-time great trainer Eddie Futch, who was in the Bahamas to work with Pete McIntyre, was almost speechless with anger at the squalid conditions for the fighters. And the 70-year-old veteran said with contempt, "This is the worst I've ever been in." They were consistent. They did everything wrong all the way through. Greg Page, the heavyweight fighter, also was there, and he said, "I've never seen a promotion this bad. Whoever is putting on this show is crazy." Don King wasn't paying no money for no locker room, good locker room. Don King putting most of the money in his pocket. Ali, Berbick, and Hearns had their own dressing room. Tommy was on the card too. Ali, Berbick, and Hearns had their own dressing rooms, such as they were. They were literally under block shacks. But the rest of the fighters were assigned to a sweltering cinder block locker room in which they got ready as a group. Scott Ledoux said in wonderment, "Now I know what the gladiators felt like in Rome. Ever see the movie Spartacus? The gladiators all waited together in one pit. This is unbelievable." That was Scott Ledoux, who was also on the card. There wasn't even a bell to sound the rounds. So somebody went and found a cowbell. It was terrible, man. Eddie Futch reported later there were only 2 sets of gloves for the entire card. So every fight used the same gloves. They only had enough gloves for one fight, 2 sets. So that every fight they used the same pair of gloves. Wow. Ali kept the fight close with Berbick for 7 rounds, but tired so visibly during the final rounds that had Berbick wanted to, he could have seriously hurt Ali. Berbick had promised before the fight he would not hurt his idol, and he did not. That was the end of the road. Ali said it best. "I did this for me. I did it for the people who are too old or too warped or too tired. I tried. This was my last fight." Ali kept his word and stayed retired after Berbick and devoted himself to charity and good works. Maybe God was telling me something. The champ was quoted as saying to Muhammad Ali in his life and times. Yes, Muhammad, he was. I want to read this other thing because this is really good. Let me get to it. This other little short article I found this weekend is really good. I definitely want to read that to y'all, man. I never knew this. Maybe some of y'all might have, I don't know, but we'll see. Okay, now. Where is it? There it is. Let me find it. We got 10 minutes. We're going to get it in. I should have just wrote it down, like I usually do. We'll be reading it now. Bear with me. This is really good. You'll see. Coming. JJ was right after JJ. It is JJ. Let me see. It should be coming up. There it is. Okay. Start with this. Angelo Dundee. And then we're going to get out of here. Now, Angelo Dundee, till his dying day, said the most courage he ever saw a fighter exhibit in his life was Ali getting off the stool in heat stroke against Holmes, unable to even lift his arms enough to ward off punches, and trudging forward, round after round, because as he whispered to Dundee after round one, "I can't quit, man. I can't quit. I got to try." That was Ali as a fighter, no matter what the odds. I can't quit, man. I can't quit. I got to try. Now, as a man, as a human being, this moment says it all. Now, check this out. On September 10th, 1966, a young Ali defended his title in Frankfurt, Germany, against Karl Mildenberger as part of his European tour. He was tired and stressed by a return to the USA to continue his fight against the military draft. Because that situation was already going on, but he was still allowed to fight at that time. But he won the fight nonetheless. In the 12th round with Mildenberger on the ropes, referee Teddy Walton stopped the fight. Now remember that's significant. Referee Teddy Walton stopped the fight. Teddy Walton. Now at the airport the next day, the referee Teddy Walton's fee of 1,000 pounds was stolen. Now Walton, who was counting on the money to pay his mortgage and bills, was distraught. Now, Ali was also at the airport getting ready to come to the United States. When Ali, also at the airport getting ready to head home, heard about what happened to the referee, money getting stolen, he paid the referee the money out of his own pocket, man. Even though he knew his income might soon be non-existent because they was already threatening to, ban him from boxing if he didn't go in that military. He paid the referee out of his own pocket, man. As a public figure after boxing was over and all he had left was faith and courage. Now, perhaps nothing sums up Ali's life and who he was than what he did in 1990, though, okay? That year, Ali, like other Americans, was alarmed that 15 Americans were being held as human shields in Iraq as the crisis deepened. Ali, believing only a Muslim might get through to Saddam Hussein and get them to release the hostages, went to Baghdad as the first Gulf War was looming to try and free the 15 American hostages being held by Saddam Hussein. Now, Ali was already badly ill with Parkinson's at the time. He ran out of medicine while he was over there in Baghdad and endured very real suffering. Now, he could have came home and got his medicine and everything, but Ali refused to leave unless the hostages left with him. He said as long as the hostages was there, he wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't leaving until he could take the hostages with him. He could barely get out of bed, right? He was so sick. He was in constant pain, which was worsening, but he refused to leave, determined to save the hostages or stay there with them. On December 2nd, 1990, Ali and the hostages flew out of Baghdad, headed for John F. Kennedy Airport in New York. Saddam Hussein released the hostages to him. The men remain overwhelmed to this day by what Ali did. I thanked him, said former hostage Bobby Anderson. And he said, man, go home and be with your family. What a great guy. And those were the defining moments about the life of Muhammad Ali, the greatest. That wasn't just in the ring, man. That was the greatest all around as a person and everything, man. Muhammad Ali. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I knew about the hostages. I didn't know he failed both of those tests going into those two fights, and they just found somebody they could pay to sign off on it. That was terrible. Okay. But Just Do Boxing up next. I appreciate everybody. Tomorrow we got the movie boxers. Okay. Apollo Creed, Rocky. What was it? I forgot Mr. T's character already. Al Booker told me one time. I forgot. We're gonna talk rank some movie boxers tomorrow. Okay. Clubber Lang. I went back up. Clubber Lang, yeah. The girl in $1 Million Baby, trained by Clint Eastwood, remember? Yeah. So join me tomorrow. But Thomas Hill, BN Boxing News, Al Booger, Crush the Legend, Mike Rim, Mike Mazik, Miss Cass. Appreciate everybody for stopping through today. We're back tomorrow with another Cass Sports. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian bringing you all that boxing history. Just Do Boxing is straight ahead. This is Cass Sports. Everybody have a great afternoon. I will see y'all around those JBT streets.